Hey there, everybody. Welcome to this reading. I actually don't know what this reading is going to be about or who it's going to be for. We're going to find out, and you're probably here because you saw the title. I'm going to put whatever this is about in the title. So we are just going to see, I'm going to call these like intuitively guided readings or something like that. I wanted to do something that's like a little bit more specific than a collective, but kind of a collective. So let me know if you love these, hate these, whatever, down below. But I'm going to do a bunch of them for this weekend. So there's going to be a bunch of these coming out, but let's see here. What highest and best, what is this reading going to be about? We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Star. This reading is for anyone who is trying to get ahead, is what I would say here. Anyone trying to grow in their career or find the resources to be successful in achieving some sort of goal, something that feels a little bit out of reach. So we're going to take a look at you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to just use these cards right here intuitively. That's what I'm feeling. We're going to just take a look at what you need to do to get the resources, the work you need to do to grow or to achieve whatever this goal is. And I'm going to read this right here as an outcome. So that'll be that. I'm actually going to use, let's use the same deck as well here. But let's see what we get for anyone who is trying to achieve like a specific goal that could require finances or something like that. So let's see here. I feel like I feel out of place doing the readings like this because I'm like, oh, what sign is this for? But let's see what we have going on for anyone trying to achieve something more specific, like a goal. And I would say if you're, this could also be for anyone who is just trying to find resources in general, resources to accomplish something here. Like if you're trying to start a business or if you're trying to get the money to move, anyone who is just looking for resources. Again, you start off with this Queen of Pentacles here. Queen of Pentacles is the card of resourcefulness. It is also the card, it's kind of like a card of quick success as well. There's a rabbit right here on this card, and the rabbit kind of represents fleetness, things changing very, very quickly. So if you are trying to gather the resources to do anything at all, period, any type of abundance that you're trying to create, I definitely feel that it is coming in for you here. I feel that, again, this middle row is describing kind of the work that you need to do to maybe, get to achieve something that's like a little bit more out of reach with the Star card. And that's really what I feel like this reading is about, is the Star card. Because the Star can represent some sort of like transition or transformation. There's this ibis back here, which represents like death and rebirth. It can also represent kind of reaching, going for a goal that's just like a little bit out of reach. She's pouring water onto the land, which reminds us that if one thing is possible for one person, it's possible for everyone here on Earth, basically. And that's usually why I feel the Star is kind of like something that just feels a little bit out of reach. Something that's a little far away as far as the goal is concerned. So, again, some of you could be, maybe you have this dream, something you want to create, but it's like a little bit out of reach. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords in this first row. The Ace of Pentacles is funny because I actually feel if you're watching this reading and it's for you, you're actually kind of pretty clear on your vision. To me, I'm seeing this as clarity because it's like I feel like you see the pentacle. It's like you see the thing that is going to lead to success. You see the thing that is going to maybe make you more successful in life or increase your abundance in some way. But the Knight of Wands here is kind of like a mystery. The Knight of Wands, we're going to talk about this in a minute, is like mysterious. I consider him to be like the builder in the tarot. To me, he is like someone who like builds things up, but he doesn't know how he's going to do it. He doesn't know if he's going to have the money to do it or anything like that, but he figures it out anyway. So, I feel like some of you are actually very clear on your vision. You also have the Nine of Pentacles and the Empress in this row here, which is pretty interesting because I feel this is like glow up vibes, glow up energy. So a lot of you who are trying to get the abundance to accomplish something here, like some sort of big goal, this to me would say that it's coming. The abundance you need is going to be here. The Nine of Pentacles is also about kind of like protecting your energy. She has like 6 pentacles on this side, 3 pentacles on this side. It says that she's only kind of giving 3 pentacles to something and she's keeping more than enough for herself. kind of like one thing that I think is important for all of you who are resonating with this reading, who are trying to accomplish something, is I do feel like there's something about like the flow of your finances, especially. For some of you, I feel like the whole principle of paying yourself first would be a good idea for you here, especially with this Nine of Pentacles, because, it's kind of like an abundant principle as well. I think that's one thing that I changed in my own personal life. I was struggling for like years, and I just started paying myself first, which is instead of paying bills, and I know this sounds crazy to you, but, instead of paying bills and everything like that, I would pay myself a little bit. I think I started with 10% that I just started taking, and that was like my money. That was for me, right? And it didn't matter if I owed more on bills and things like that. I had to pay myself first, because it's like if you're giving constantly from an empty cup, you're only just going to keep creating more empty cups in your life. And I'm kind of getting that, like that principle, the word principle is popping into my head as well with the Nine of Pentacles, but I feel like consciously doing that will increase your kind of abundance in your finances here. The Nine of Swords, I feel like you need to realize that things are actually better than they appear. He has a blanket, this like comforter here. It is meant to represent comfort. It's like, yeah, this person is experiencing a nightmare financially, could be very worried about finances as well, or how they're going to accomplish this goal, which again, if you're watching this reading, you're probably trying to accomplish something that requires finances, but you're trying to accomplish something specific with that star card. But I feel like this card is more talking about the comfort side of things. I feel like it's trying to comfort you here, and I kind of feel like it's also saying, like, you are actually in a much better position than you realize. I always like to remind people that the Nine of Swords is temporary. It is not something that lasts for a long time. The Nine of Swords is meant to represent something temporary as well. So I feel like if you're like worried about, will you be able to accomplish something great? I would say yes. I feel like it's just a matter of time. Next in this middle row here, again, intuitively, I feel like this is talking about the work that needs to be done for you to get to your star, right? And the star is a great place to be. I feel like it's a place where you are going to be being able to rest, relax, recover. So there's like a sense of financial security, but she's also pouring water into this pool here, and it kind of represents like she's pouring her wisdom back into back into the energy as well, like back into the pool of energy that exists around us. So I feel like not only will you be able to take time for yourself and give to yourself, but you will be able to give to others and kind of, progress in that way as well. But I feel like this is the work that needs to be done. You have the Knight of Wands, the Six of Swords, and the Empress here. Definitely a very abundant change coming in for you, I feel. The Death card, the Six of Swords is kind of like about moving away from choppy waters. You can look at this guy in the back of the boat in several different ways. You could look at him as a guide, someone who goes back and forth. More specifically, you can look at him as like the ferryman on the river Styx, basically the person who transitions people from life to death. So, and I'm saying this because I do get more of this kind of transition type energy going on here in this reading. So for a lot of you, I feel like you're in this uncertain transition as far as work or career or business is concerned, if this reading is for you. And again, it's like you're trying to build something, but there are a lot of mysteries here, I feel, with this Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands represents mysteries because there are these three pyramids down here on the card, and it kind of represents like, how do you build something? How do you create something? How do you, how do you make something happen, right? And it's like, how were the pyramids built? Probably aliens, right? But he doesn't know. He's got to figure it out. He's got to figure out how to go out and, build pyramids, or he's got to figure out how to build his dream business, or whatever the case may be for you. I feel like there's a lot of abundance coming in for you here, clearly. I feel like you will be kind of like having your glow up, so to speak, with this Empress energy. I get a very strong need to kind of like tap into your intuition, number one. I feel like if you're having these racing thoughts where maybe you're always looking for answers, then like, taking some time to like slow it down and taking some time to just like find those inner answers would be better for you with the Empress, because she kind of is saying you're in a good position. here, especially if you're trying to accomplish more in your career or financially, and or just if you're trying to become more abundant in general. It's like you're in a good position, but I feel like this rushing energy. There's this waterfall back here, and the waterfall on the Empress represents chaotic force. It represents kind of entropy. It kind of represents the fact that even though things are going well, things could also go bad, and vice versa. Things could be going from really bad to really good. So I feel some of you need to realize that, and it's kind of like I'm getting this energy of needing to pay attention. I'm getting a lot here on the Empress as well. For others, again, if you're trying to reach the star, whatever your goal is, again, could be more abundance, whatever. It's almost like I feel there's just like one more thing missing are the words that are popping into my head here. So for some of you, I feel you could be just missing like a tiny little piece of information that would, that will open the floodgates with this waterfall back here. I actually feel like this is a good thing. I'm noticing how the water is showing up here in the reading, which is interesting as well. Again, you have the Six of Swords, but going this way, Ace of Pentacles, Six of Swords to the King of Cups. It's like rushing water around the King of Cups, but he's in a very calm, cool, collected type of state. He doesn't give a you-know-what about what's going on around him here. He is like perfectly, on the positive side of things, he is emotionally stable no matter what is going on around him. So, again, obviously there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, and it probably could be, one thing that is holding you back from reaching your star. But at the same time, it's like he does things anyway. He doesn't really care what's going on around him. Again, in your last row here, I feel that this is the thing that you're trying to accomplish at this time. Star can just be kind of like a wish in some ways. I feel that for a lot of you, that you're about to get this like burst of inspiration, or kind of like some sort of hope is coming in for you. So for those of you building a business, or trying to grow in your career, or again, trying to create abundance in some way, which is what I feel like this reading is all about. Clearly, it's like you're trying to increase your resources. Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Empress, Nine of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. Pretty straightforward, right? I feel like that this is saying that there's a kind of like I feel this like more like a sudden burst of hope, right? Coming in for you. Something, I feel this energy of being motivated. We're going to clarify this in just a second, by the way. And I feel like this sudden kind of like burst of energy, something kind of creates this like more liftoff energy for you here. In this row, we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Eight of Swords, and the King of Cups. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? I mean, I feel like for a lot of you, you're realizing that maybe your job isn't worth it. Maybe you're realizing that certain things aren't worth it in life. I think, this whole COVID thing that we've been dealing with, it's like people aren't going back to work. And there are like all these job openings. It's like, why do you think that is? See, I feel like it's because people are like, wait a minute, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. It's not worth going back to work. So it's like we're in this transition period in general, and a lot of people are experiencing it. But I feel like some of you are realizing that other things are more important to you. Again, if there was one positive that we could take from the whole COVID experience is, again, I feel like it's kind of resetting people's, or it has reset people's, importance meter. It's like what things that are maybe that weren't important in the past are becoming more important, or you're realizing that certain things are important and certain things aren't important. Like maybe having a career where you work 1 million hours a week isn't important to you anymore. But the good news is, I think COVID, it's like I've seen an explosion on my own channel. I've seen an explosion on other channels as well, where they're more related to creating abundance. So I don't think that it doesn't really surprise me, is what I'm trying to say. I think a lot of people are like, wait a minute, I don't have to work so hard to create a bunch of abundance. I can start that side business that could turn into something full time, or I could start something that just isn't such a struggle, that just isn't such a hassle. And again, I've talked about this before. I think we're moving from competition to creativity. It's like they're two different energies as far as creating abundance is concerned. It's like the old way, getting a career, competing, rising to the top, gone, right? No more. We're entering into this time where it's like if you're creating things and co-creating with other people, you're going to see much more abundance coming into your life. And not just financially either. We're talking about all forms of abundance, because it's like abundant people attract abundant people. Abundant people attract abundant situations in general. This is a good thing, because I think that just, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I personally think that we have the best opportunity right now to create very abundant world. But again, we have to create this kind of cycle. But I feel this is you maybe having some realizations. that you want to make a change in career or something along those lines. Again, with the Queen of Cups and the Eight of Swords, this to me is very emotional. She is standing in very shallow water here, but it kind of represents shallow emotions. The Queen of Cups could be worrying too much about things. So if you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to create more abundance, whatever you're doing here, I would say I feel like you need to get out of your head. The Eight of Swords reminds us that we are not one-dimensional. There is not just one way to do things. The Eight of Swords says there are many ways that we can accomplish our goals. So some of you might be thinking you need resources to start your business. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I can't really, I was watching, let's just put it this way, okay? I was watching this documentary about these people who have a certain type of farm, right? They grow something that makes you feel funny. Let's put it that way, right? I can't really talk about it on YouTube. Otherwise, I would have to, I don't know, turn my video off or something. But I think you catch my drift, right? They were growing something that makes you feel funny, and they were interviewing this couple that was talking about the expenses and like how impossible it is to start up one of these farms, right? And but luckily they were able to find a grant that supports people who are starting this certain type of farm, right? And so I feel like if you're trying to find your resources, it's like there might be a grant, there might be a loan somewhere, there might be a person who's just being generous, who wants to help you. So the Eight of Swords says, like, you might think you need a bunch of money here, and it could be making you feel emotional or upset, but you really don't. That's like one side of this. I feel that another side of this is some of you, I feel this chasing type of energy, right? I feel this, I feel this energy of chasing after something is what I would say to you here, and I feel like again that's more of that competition energy. I feel like if you can step more into your creative mind, you're going to see more success. So that's for those of you, like if you're on YouTube, for example, it's like YouTube is kind of like a marathon in a lot of ways, but it's like maybe you could get more creative and create less videos at a higher production quality that last for a longer period of time, that get you more views for a longer period of time. You get where I'm going here? I feel that this last row is almost saying, hey, there is an opportunity in work and business and career, whatever it is that you do, right? For you to create a lot of abundance, but also to create like win situations. It's more working smarter, not harder type of energy that I'm getting here. I feel like taking this approach, a very stable, smooth sailing kind of focused approach would be a good idea. Maybe being a little bit more logical as well would be a good idea. But pretty good reading for increasing abundance. So let's see where this is going for you. And let's see here. Between the Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, yeah, I feel like you need to just take a leap of faith. The Three of Wands is waiting for the perfect moment when there never will be a perfect moment. The Ace of Pentacles is an opportunity that comes your way. The Knight of Wands, he just goes for it. He is the energy of spontaneous energy, the spontaneous creation, right? He doesn't really think about consequences or anything like that. I always get a lot of comments from people who are like, oh, you have to worry about the consequences. I'm like, yeah, but you're not going to die. I mean, to me, as far as I'm concerned, again, I always talk about when I was 16 years old, I worked up here, right up the hill from my current office, right? And there was a person on a very slow road that got hit by a car, died, like while I was working up here. And, ever since that time, I was like, man, you could just be crossing the road on a very slow road where people drive very slow in a very quiet neighborhood, and you could get, creamed by a car. So it's like, I think sometimes we worry about consequences that pretty much don't matter. And that's what I'm getting here. And so I feel like for some of you, just need to not, obviously we're not talking about taking ridiculous risks here, but, I feel like there are certain consequences that you're worrying about that just don't exist, plain and simple. Between the Nine of Pentacles and the Six of Swords, yeah, you have the Four of Wands, freedom coming in for you. I feel like you need to go for it. This reading is, again, for someone who is working towards a specific goal, who kind of has this vision that you're holding that feels a little bit out of reach. I know it's not really a good answer, but I feel like you just need to go for it. It's like the only thing that's holding you back is probably you, and, I would get moving. I also feel like looking for answers would be a good idea for you here, especially with that Four of Wands as well. It's like there are people who are already winning at whatever you're thinking about. I feel like you need to find those people Again, I also feel, and what I mean by looking into things is like I was talking about, I feel like there could be assistance, like financial assistance for you. There could be other types of assistance. If you're trying to grow in your career, same thing. It's like maybe there's like a mentorship program, or, maybe there's just a person who wants to help you out. But I feel like it's something that needs to be looked for. You have to go and find it, is what this is saying. A lot of luck here. I'm really focused on like 11-11 here for you. I mean, 4 wands reminds me of 11-11. It's like 2 wands, 2 wands, but it's kind of like a 11-11. So I feel like that could be an important number for you. With the Nine of Swords and the Empress, you have the Strength card. I feel like you are going to have to be strong at this time. I love the Strength card because, to me, it's kind of like a display of strength. I always say, like, who in their right mind would stick their hands in a lion's mouth? The answer is nobody. So, to me, this is a card that says you will be seen as being strong. You will be seen, you will stand out because of something you're doing, like glow up right here, right, with the Empress. I also feel like there is something inside of you that you are taming. I'm kind of seeing this more as your inner beast, your inner monster. We all have that, monster inside of us that we have to tame. And so for some of you, I kind of feel with the Nine of Swords here, it's one of those things where it's like maybe your biggest fear is exactly the thing you need to step towards, or step up to be successful. So I would say if you're afraid of something, it is probably a clue of the the darkness that you need to step into. But again, there will be light, clearly. Empress, Star. It's like there's nothing to be afraid of. With the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles, you have the King of Pentacles. Damn. I like this. I feel like you're creating long-term wealth, whoever this reading is for. I feel like you're creating something that is going to be permanent with the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles to me is permanent wealth, permanent abundance, basically. So I feel like you're creating permanent abundance here with this energy. This doesn't surprise me. Six of Swords, Queen of Cups, Eight of Swords. You have the Fool. The Fool basically just says you have to just do it, like I was saying over here. I do get this energy of there being no good answer. Sometimes I think there is no good answer. If we have a goal that we want to achieve, sometimes we just have to go for it and just slog through it. And I do get that energy here, but I don't think this is going to be a slog. You have the Knight of Wands, which is more of an adventure, something that is fun, something that is you're going to enjoy and look back on and be happy about. But definitely, I feel this is kind of like a new beginning. Look at all the yellow on these clarifying cards. This is amazing. Between the Empress and the King of Cups, you have the Devil. I feel like you're not as tied up to your emotions as you feel. Again, the Devil, these chains are meant to look very loose on the Devil card. These people could easily take those chains off, right? So all they have to do is take the chains off. That's it. and they're free. I feel like some of you need to realize that you're a lot more free than you realize here. I feel it would be a really good time for you to examine the things that you're doing in life, like, especially if you're trying to build a business or accomplish this specific goal that's going to lead to a lot of abundance. I just feel there's like a lot of things. I was kind of saying this with the Seven of Pentacles. I feel there are a lot of things that you're doing that just probably are more of like an energy vampire. I feel like there are things that you're doing that could just be sucking your energy away. So I would be very careful of that here. But let's see. Top row outcome, you have the Nine of Wands, Wounded Warrior. This could be the thing that it has been holding you back. I feel if this reading is resonating with you, that you have probably already tried to increase your abundance in a certain way. It makes sense with Eight of Swords as well, because Eight of Swords, again, is being too close to an issue. So I feel for some of you, you've been trying to accomplish this specific goal for a very long period of time, but you keep bumping up against the same obstacles. Nine of Wands, is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So I feel like experimentation is going to make you very successful. If you're trying to accomplish something specific, I would experiment. I would also look for alternative ways of doing things. I know that sounds obvious, but trust me, for years, I did things only one way. So I totally get it. I totally understand getting stuck doing things one way. But I do feel this card is saying that there's a million ways to do things. Like I said earlier, you just need to try them all. Middle row here, you have the Hierophant here. Hierophant is kind of like the bridge between the universe and the earth, or, God and the earth, whatever you want to call it. And I feel for some of you, there is a little bit of divine intervention going on here because of that star card. I was getting this like burst of, kind of motivation inside of you, because I feel like the star is, I don't know why I was feeling that, honestly. I still feel it. I feel like some of you, it's like you could be, it's almost like the universe is giving you a pat on the back and is kind of like pushing you forward here. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were some like unexpected rewards, or, if maybe something just works right in your business. It's like you've been trying and trying and trying, and then boom, you try something new and it just works, and it's like, oh my God, you feel very motivated. I would capitalize on that motivation. I would like allow it to push you further, is what I'm saying here. I also feel that trusting your intuition is going to be, kind of like using your intuition and then bringing it down to earth. I would say no second guessing yourself here. I'm getting something about second guessing on the Hierophant, which is weird. But what I would say here is I feel like some of you, it's like maybe you get an idea in your business and then you come up with all these reasons as to why it won't work. I feel like this is saying, no, just keep pushing forward, plain and simple. And bottom row, Three of Pentacles. Like I said, co-creation, I said earlier, Three of Pentacles is a card of co-creating. I feel like there will be a lot of benefits for you in co-creation. To me, it's also a card of kind of like manifesting things on Earth. There's a fire triangle here, water triangle down here. The water triangle represents something that exists just out in the ether, something that needs to be brought down to Earth. He is standing on this bench, and he needs to get off this bench and get onto the ground. So I feel for a lot of you, it is time to get this going. Even her, like, look at her. Her foot is like hovering over the pool of water. I feel like it's time to jump right in here. I feel like you need to like cannonball right into this goal or whatever it is that you're trying to work towards here, because you will be very successful. Teamwork will be very important as well. Any co-creative experiences, I would say. And again, this doesn't even mean, like, if you're trying to build a business, that doesn't mean you have to take on a business partner. You could be building alongside someone else. You could just be, joining a group or start a group, right, on Facebook for people who want to start a business like you, and just kind of create that community. I think it's, probably going, I think looking back in the future, it'll be one of the most successful things you've ever done. So I feel like networking, things like that are coming up here on this Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles also reminds us to play. This lady here, she has polka dots on her shirt. Nine of Swords over here as well. To me, this would be an energy of needing to make sure that you don't take things too seriously. It can be an energy that says, being locked into seriousness can lock you out of success, basically, because, it's like when you're too serious, it's too rigid of an energy. It's like when we do things that where we have fun, like where, it's like okay to be driven, it's okay to be motivated, it's okay to bust your ass on your business and to achieve this goal. But if that's the only thing you're doing, it doesn't allow you to get out of your head. It doesn't allow you to escape your brain. And so Three of Pentacles and the Nine of Swords also, it's kind of a card that reminds me that it's like, hey, you need to do some things that you enjoy as well. Socialize, get out there, take part in a hobby, because you'll probably channel better ideas. A really good reading. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Let me know how you feel about these readings down below. But thank you, and definitely enjoy the month.